Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. Live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on any smart device at David G. Evans, the number one. So glad you could join us today. Won't you please help us spread the word about On Point? Like us, of course. Subscribe to us. Hit that notification bell. Give us that thumbs up. That will help us reach the numbers in the algorithm where we can begin to make an even greater impact on the lives of all those that listen to us from around the world. I'm Bishop David G. Evans. My world famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas Smith, is off today. So we will have a great time having conversation. I hope you will give us a call, 866-743-8267, 866-786-74 I would love to talk to you today. First-time callers, don't be shy. We love first-time callers. It'll be a very comfortable experience for you. So many things going on today in our lives. We see what's going on with the government. Those of you and us that are involved in the stock market, we're watching the oscillation, the dips, the downsides of the market. A lot of people are not directly involved in the market, but indirectly through their retirement plans and 401ks. And if some of your 401k investment is in stock, you may have noticed a bit of a down trend. You may have lost some money, a couple percentage points over the last week or two. But one thing I've learned about the stock market is that it always bounces back. It's like the real estate market. They all go through cycles, and you have to be able to ride the cycle out with wisdom in order to make it. With real estate, when the dip comes, people generally hold until it bounces back. And in stocks, some people sell to preserve whatever profit they had. Some get out of the market altogether and then jump back in. There are several strategies. So everything runs in a cycle. Even the political that we're dealing with right now, that's a cycle also. Every 4 years we have a presidential election, but we also know historically what's significant is that every 2 years in the midterm, if people are not liking what's going on, there's a shift in who's the majority in the Senate and the House normally. And despite who the president is, the approving process shifts, the leverage for the approving process shifts during the midterms. Many people that are wiser than I am, as far as political things are concerned, are really believing that the midterm will see a shift just in leadership back to what some people think will be a more comfortable flow. A lot of people, as I'm watching news and watching interviews, I'm very curious about how people are reacting to the present political environment and how you are reacting to it. Some of you may want to talk about that today. But people are feeling a lot of stress. People are feeling a lot of anxiety, uncertainty. A lot of what we know about America or didn't know is being revealed. We're having an issue with people who actually were content with the agenda of our present president as long as it did not affect them. So now that it appears as though even his base is vulnerable to these decisions, now there's I didn't vote for this, when actually you did. He did say what he was going to do. Or you're saying, well, I didn't think he was going to do this. Well, he said he was going to do it. One of the things that happened is that they buried all this agenda in Project 2025 because they knew a lot of people were not going to approach a 1,000-page document and sift through it to see what the agenda was. So we're only surprised if we didn't read the document. But if you read the document, you're not surprised because that is, by their own words, a playbook for what they want to do with America. But the reality is, somebody was watching Hulu and watching The Handmaid's Tale and figured that would be a good thing for for society, for women, for children, for all kinds of other types of parts of our culture and society. Somebody decided that A Handmaid's Tale made sense. And I tell you why I think some of them did. That A Handmaid's Tale is in the Bible, not in the context that we are seeing operate now, but the principle of the handmaid is in the Bible. Abraham, Sarah, Hagar, as they say in Israel, or the handmaid, which is Mary, and the mother of Jesus. So the handmaid principle is in the Bible. Now, whether it's supposed to be worked out the way that Project 2025 wants to work it out, especially regarding women in their place. I mean, when did you hear, when did you ever conceive that if a lady didn't change her name after she was married on her birth certificate to her married name, that she would not be able to vote? Well, that premise is based on the fact that they want the man in the house, his vote, to represent the house. So I don't know too many women that consciously get their birth certificates changed to their married name. Who does that? I mean, your birth certificate has always been enough. Amen. But now there's some different things going on where women who are married, if they have not changed their birth certificate to their married name, that they won't be able to vote. So you see, most of this is about electoral leverage and power. And if you can wipe out millions of women's ability to vote, then that basically places them under the vote of the man of the house. Now that wouldn't even make sense to most chauvinists that I know, much less reasonable men. So you take away the voting voice, you take away the autonomy over themselves. These are just principles that we see, and all of a sudden, they used to call it demasculating a man. I guess it would be defeminizing a woman. I don't know what you would call it, but things are being done so that the minority in the country now has more voting leverage than the majority in the country. We know the country is absolutely more females than males. It used to be 7-1 back when I was a young guy. I don't know whether it was 10 or 11-1 now. So all of a sudden, we're seeing these efforts to rearrange voting districts to make it inconvenient for certain people to vote. And now, there's an executive order being considered that if you did not change your birth certificate, ladies, to your husband's name, that only the husband can represent the house in the vote. Now, isn't that amazing? Well, 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Now, what I really want to talk to you about, and that's not eliminating whatever else you want to talk about. There's a couple hot things. There's a whole lot of anxiety over grants and funding that are being either canceled or being taken back by the government as it relates to the farmers in Nebraska, as it relates to people that are doing certain social service things in the country. They've gotten grants, but now, the government is taking them back. The Department of Education, I think that people who say the Department of Education needs to be abolished don't really understand what the Department of Education is about. The reason departments were created, one of the primary reasons departments were created by the federal government, was to compensate for what the states could not do on their own. So, Department of Education makes sure that if your children have some kind of learning disorder, they get the help that they need either in the class or in another environment. That if your child is what we would call handicapped back in the day, that the child gets everything that it needs to be in class, whether it's a teacher sitting in class or whether it's equipment needed to get to the class. Pay for the child to be moved, to be transported from one district to another because there they can give the services that they need. So the Department of Education makes up the difference for what a state, watch this, would not be able to afford to do without raising the property tax, this and that tax on everything in the little city that we live in, in the county that we live in. So all of a sudden, Department of Education steps in and makes up the difference for those people that are disadvantaged. And you've got people, watch this, with children that need extra help that are advocating, get rid of the Department of Education. You're actually saying, get rid of the help my child needs. The problem is, people are not screaming about this until after they get the notice, okay, you're going to have to pay for this now. Some of these children, the compensation or the difference is anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a year per child. So that burden is taken off of the parent and the child because the Department of Education makes sure funding is there to handle the special needs of the child. Yet you have people with special needs children that are screaming that we need to get rid of the Department of Education. Absolutely insane. The states could not afford. Now here's the problem I have with this. If there are 10 states that need this kind of compensation, 6 of them are red states. 6 of them have a poverty level where the Department of Education is absolutely needed. Lunch programs, those type of basic breakfasts, those types of basic things. So when you're screaming about they need to abolish this, they need to fire all those people, you're actually asking them to destroy something that may be helping not just your child, but here's the part that's really bothering me now. Are we so selfish that we no longer think of our neighbors' children? That we no longer think of children in other parts of the country that have disabilities? That the Department of Education steps in and kind of takes care of these things? Are we no longer concerned about what happens? It appears as though as long as we are not affected by it, you can get rid of it. The veterans never thought they would be attacked like this. You have veterans that voted for this administration. They never thought it would be them. They're firing tens of thousands of veterans. And I heard the press secretary for this present administration say, maybe they just shouldn't have a job right now. What kind of nonsense is that? You go to war for us, you're injured on our behalf because we didn't have to go. You come back with evidence of a disability, and you have the temerity to say, maybe I don't need a job right now? Okay, I'm just saying, 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Where I want to get to today, and we're going to Scott from Vineland in just a moment, what I want to get to today are the stresses that this present environment seems to be causing, whether it's financial, whether it's psychological, whether it's emotional. What I want to talk around, if you all will let me and join in with me, I want to talk about how Jesus is concerned about your mental health. I think with all the stresses that I'm seeing, with all the disappointments that I'm seeing, and I'm watching specifically to see how people are reacting to the president's administrative moves, I think people need to understand that the Lord is concerned about your mental strength and your mental health. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Let's go to Scott. Hey, Scott, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Bishop, how you been?
Man, they let me out playing by myself again, man. It's dangerous.
Man, shut up.
Man, I'm on my own.
Pop Shelton saying shut up.
I feel grown. You see me flexing, don't you? I feel grown.
Yes, sir. Go ahead with your bad self, man. That's one of my sayings. I just steal one of my sayings from myself.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Just working overtime. Always good to talk to
What's
you,
good?
Bishop.
You know what? I'm glad you called. I got a question for you. You're the Eagle specialist.
Yes, sir.
Are they allowing this team to disintegrate a little bit?
I mean, you know what? I was just telling one of my coworkers, there's a Zamboni here at the rink. I said, Mike, both of us are calm. He said, yeah. He knew what I was getting to, Bishop. I said, we're at the well starting to run dry, Bishop. That's what I told Mike. We knew we was going to lose people, but it's starting to be a little bit too many. We're starting to be able to count on our fingers and toes now.
Is it that many?
Yes, it's starting to get a little
concerning.
Worse. Yes,
a little concerning now.
Yes, we just lost the big boy Becton, who was the lead blocker for Saquon.
Oh no!
When he would run, yes, he went to the Chargers. Big guy, very athletic. You would know him if you saw him. We just lost him yesterday.
How'd they let him get away?
A great question. It's not like he was going to be expensive either. Yeah, it's
Why?
Great question.
Wait a minute. So you might understand this part of sports better than I do. So I have something that works, and my next move is not to preserve the thing that's working.
Yeah, I'm still one of your fans. I can't figure it out. Again, we know we was going to lose people, of course, winning Super Bowl team, but people get the rings and they want to carry their career somewhere else. But
the folk that make the pathways and the folk that intercept the passes and the folk that sack the quarterback and harass him, those are the people you don't want to lose.
No, but
okay.
You know what? Then on the flip side, they have enough. Hopefully, they have young talent who can hopefully step in. I think that's what they're seeing it as, and sprinkled with a couple veterans. There are a couple, young guys that they're banking on to step in.
Now, I might be naive again, but from my observational experience, rarely do you get a rookie that can jump in and perform at a veteran's level of performance. Is that right? They got to learn the position. They have to get used to the speed of the game. They got to get used to somebody stronger than them or stronger than opposing them on the other side of the line. It's a lot.
It is.
Football is not just everybody hit somebody anymore.
Nah.
Okay, so so what are we looking at? Them maybe having a down year and then bouncing back again?
Maybe.
But
maybe.
why?
We always hear that Super Bowl hangover, if you want to say.
But why, if you have Saquon, would you allow his main blocker to leave?
Great question.
Okay.
That's the question of the century, decade, future. Great question, Bishop. I wish I had the answer, but this is why I'm at the ice rink doing janitorial work and not over there making those big eyes. But the one good thing is to touch up on what we were both just talking about. I guess they're also banking on that Coach Jeff Stoutland. He brings the best in everybody, young, old, middle age, whatever. So
okay.
I think it's another thing they're counting on, because the guy said we just lost Saquon's main blocker, Becton. He nothing against it, but I wouldn't say in his face he's a big guy, but he was pretty much like nothing. But Coach Stoutland brought the best out in Becton, and look how he turned out. There's a handful of guys he's brought. They call it Stoutland University. So hopefully, the guys coming in, we got a couple guys from the Colts, some tight end, and the defensive guys can learn from Coach Stoutland.
From the Colts, are they a winning team?
No, but he's a decent. We both know sometimes you have players on teams that are sorry, but yeah, unfortunately, it turns out like that.
As long as they don't contribute to the sorriness, it might have been a good deal. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, but you saw my thunder. That's what I want to talk about now. Last thing, Bishop.
Yeah.
Me and I were talking. She said, please ask Bishop. I heard before I called in. I had a guy on the bus over there. Oh, Trump. I said, my man, I don't feel sorry for you or anybody that voted for him. I had to get deep. I said, let me finish, my man. He got quiet. I said, I lost my damn uncle. Two dear people to me on his watch. I saw enough of the circus the first go around.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to have the part.
Yeah.
Bishop, what did they expect, Bishop? Can you please help me?
Well, here's a decisive look at it. A lot of people that I've talked to since that time obviously did not vote based upon what was being said. They voted based on something emotional. Because a lot of the people that are being asked, would you vote for him again, even though they might have lost their jobs, their dad lost their job, their aunt got deported, some of them are actually saying they would vote again. So that means to me, they did not vote based upon what he said. They voted based upon how they felt. So something other than programs, agendas, something other than that was the impetus, was the driver for them voting. It's the only logical explanation.
And or you'll probably agree with everybody else listening. But me and I have said it over and over again. Because Kamala's a woman, and because she's African American.
Well, that's one that could be one of those things we're talking about. It couldn't have been platform. If you're injured by the platform, but you're still saying okay. People vote against their best interests not because they love the platform, but was something emotional is being touched within them. That's the only logical explanation.
Thanks for trying to bring some kind of click to that.
Because watch this, Scott. Watch this, Scott.
Sir.
Why would you keep touching the stove and burning your hand? That makes no sense, right?
No.
Could it be the attention you get after you burn the hand?
True.
That's what I'm talking about.
Something
emotional.
Talk about it, preacher. Talk about it.
Yeah, something emotional. So
yeah,
you're watching people now who absolutely believed it was okay what he was saying until it personally affected them.
Yep. Just like with Dad and Uncle Rich. I quiet people up to this day. I told a guy a couple of weeks ago, I said, I lost my on his watch. I said, if you lose anybody, you're not on my thinking level.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, so I don't want to hear it, my man. Stay after the conversation. But you know, Bishop, I can get deep.
Well,
I can get deep, but yeah.
The problem is that people are now, as a nation, our self-centeredness is being revealed in some very obvious ways.
Yep.
We're losing our humanity. We're losing our heart for other people, and are sliding towards this place where I don't care what happens to you. Because I saw a lady testify the other day. She said when she heard, I'm condensing the conversation, when she heard that her coworkers were fired, she literally skipped down the hallway and she was happy. And then she got back to her office, and the next day she got an email saying she needed to be seen by her boss on that 2 days later. And she was fired. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until she was fired that she was sad about what was going on.
Like you said, Bishop, when it affects you, it's a whole different ballgame.
You know, it's like the Bible does not say y'all have sinned. It says all have sinned. But we're watching people that are trapped in the y'all.
Yes.
All right, man.
I appreciate it. I gave my buddy Steve that worked for PNC got released that message, said thank you. I'm going to check on him today and
good.
See how he's holding up. But 22 plus years at PNC, and the DEI is real, Bishop. And,
oh yeah.
He's hanging in there. He's got his own little clothing line, pocketbooks, and men's bow ties and all that. But I know it's things I keep an eye on.
I thought DEI stood for Don Jr., Ivanka, and Ivanka.
Yeah, it's something else, Bishop. But,
all right, talk to you.
Love you. Nice and love.
Bye-bye. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Why don't you give us a call? We'd love to talk to you today. We're going to Derek on line 6. Hey, Derek, how you doing?
Hey, Bishop, how you doing this evening?
All right, how are you this morning?
They got you solo, huh?
Oh yeah, they let me out playing by myself, man. You know, I feel kind of mature today.
Playing with the big boys.
I'm running alone today. It's a wonderful thing. Go ahead, man. I'm like,
okay,
wow.
I'm in Chrysler.
Mm-hmm.
The rehab center. The rehab place.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. When I sit up, sit up at the edge of the bed,
Mm-hmm.
and I have like a tension in my neck,
Yeah.
and it shoots right to my arm. What does that mean?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but it sounds like you got something going on with your either the connector muscles from your neck through your trap down through your arm, or you got something going on. Perhaps I'm no doctor, but I know from my own experience, you could have something going on in one of your vertebrae, either 5 or 6, maybe a nerve being pinched or something like that. But you've had a traumatic event happen. So you shouldn't be surprised that there are some new sensitivities in your body that you didn't have before.
Right, because every time I sit up, it's like my neck start hurting, then it'll go down to my arm like it's a nerve.
Yeah. Did you tell your
'Cause
therapist that?
Yeah, because my nerves are like shot.
Did they start working on it?
Yeah, they started working on it, but
You'll be all right.
every time,
Just
every
do what
time,
they tell you. Do what they
every
tell
time I go, every time I wake up or something,
you. Yeah.
or they sit me at the edge of the bed or the wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
I literally start crying because my nerves are shot.
It
and
hurts.
my neck
It
starts
hurts bad.
Yes.
Okay. I've had that kind of nerve pain before. There's something they can do for it, but you're gonna have to get the flexibility and strengthen your neck back at the same time. But you make sure you tell the doctor, and the doctor will know what to do. But because that transmitting pain from neck down to arm sometimes has to do in the way you're describing it. I've had that before myself, and I had to have some treatment on some nerves in my neck, and then it went away.
Well, will I be able to use my arm again?
Sure.
Because I feel like my
Don't be giving up. Don't be giving up now. You use your arm, not will you. Use it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to use it, but
Yeah.
it's going to physically hurt.
Start with moving your fingers.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with my finger.
Then start flexing your arm. And then start
Oh,
bending.
I
Then start bending your elbow.
That's the point. I can't raise my right arm.
Start with your fingers.
I'm starting with my finger.
All right, and you got to do that every day, all day, as much as you can.
Right, and I can use my left, but I'm not perfectly good with my left hand. But I can't raise my right.
You'll be all right. You went through a lot. You'll be good. All right.
You're right. I went through it. I got hit by a car. I went through a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you got hit by a car, man. A couple tons hit you. You're gonna be sore, and some stuff gonna happen, man. It's just, first off, it's good that you can sit up. So moving your arm is gonna be a small thing. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, because when they set me up, Bishop, when they set me all the way up, my neck was hurting.
I tell you what you need to do. 2 Wednesdays ago, we had a healing service. Watch it on YouTube and follow along in your Bible.
All
right.
Start
the process. Follow along in your Bible.
Okay.
2 Wednesdays ago, we had a miracle healing service. That's what you want to look at.
Okay.
All right, but you want to follow along in your Bible so you can learn what to have faith in. Okay.
Yeah, because I want to be able to use my body all over again.
Absolutely, and I'm believing in God you will.
Yeah, just tell everybody.
But you're gonna have to work for it, brother. You got to work for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
All right, I gotta let you go.
All right, just tell everybody I said pray for me.
All right, I will.
All right, thank you.
Talk to you. That was Derek from Camden, y'all. We're going to Tom in Fort Lauderdale, 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Tom.
Good morning, Bishop. Look like you're solo.
Yeah, man. I feel kind of independent today.
How you doing?
Pastor Nick got me ready to do this, man. I've been in training. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Bishop. This thing with Social Security, I was looking at how Elon wants to privatize it, get rid of it. 2 quickies.
Yeah.
One is he's saying that these Democrats wanted for foreigners to come in and entice them so they can come in and vote and then use the system, when just the opposite happens.
Right.
They can't vote.
Right.
Number two is they pay into the system and they don't take out the system. So they're one of the best things for the system, because you bring them in, they keep the money, they keep that money flowing. But they're wiping that out to try to convince.
Answer me, riddle me this, Batman. Riddle me this.
Okay, I'm Robin.
Isn't Elon Musk an immigrant?
I believe from South Africa.
I thought you mean South Philadelphia. You mean Southern Florida.
The way he's acting like he's
No, you mean Southern California. You mean, not South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa.
Oh my.
And
So
this other thing about all these people over 100 years old. Yeah, there are some people. There's 80,000 people in this country over 100.
okay.
And there's only 40,000 of them collecting. The other ones that fall under that category are when the date in the system can't read your date, it automatically throws you to, I think, 160 years old. So it's a glitch in the system, but it's no secret.
Yeah.
They know this.
They know it.
And yes, but they're telling you they don't. You're like they don't know it.
The more I hear the president and Mr. Musk interrelate, the more I'm starting to wonder if there was some joint effort between Musk, the president, and Putin as far as influencing the outcome of the election.
Bishop, I'm telling you, it sure looks like it.
It's just, they're starting to get a little loose with their statements, and every now and then I'll hear something from one of them that makes me go, huh?
Yeah, yesterday.
And we know that Putin, since the first time, tried to influence the whole thing with the post and the bots and all the other stuff. And I'm wondering, especially since Musk, I'm wondering if this invasion of privacy by Doge has anything to do with trying to cover tracks rather than just collect information.
Bishop, I haven't looked at it that way, but it sure sounds like a plan.
Well, because you can either use a rifle to shoot down one duck, or you can use a shotgun, which spreads the buckshot all over the place.
Yep.
I'm wondering if we got all these distractions because this one little important thing is being done. But I think what I was told a couple weeks ago that I hadn't been aware of is that now that all the votes are in, they say Mrs. Harris lost by a very narrow margin as it relates to national election.
Skin of your teeth. I saw this thing last night.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're talking 20,000 votes here.
Yup. And but
and almost like she might not have lost.
Well,
the
yeah.
Electoral college.
Well, one thing I've learned about our present president is whatever he accuses you of, he's usually already guilty of, or he's planning to do it. But usually he's already done it when he accuses you of it.
Yeah. And he was already priming the crowd for if he would have lost.
Oh, yeah.
If he cheated. The other thing is, yesterday, Portugal was buying billions of dollars of F-35s from Lockheed.
Really?
And they had the contract. They were going to set their Air Force up with the F-35s.
Okay.
Well, they announced yesterday that a couple $1 billion contract is now going to go to the Eurofighter because they cannot trust the U.S. to deliver because they're no longer a friend of Europe.
Okay.
So Lockheed is sitting back, I know, fuming. Now, Bishop, The company I worked for a long time was Lockheed Martin.
I remember.
I'm telling you, when I was there, it was the Aegis weapon system.
Okay.
When we got the contracts from Spain and Japan,
Okay.
that factory in Morristown was in glee.
Okay.
Because those contracts, that company doesn't work on, hey, I can go and sell you more widgets.
Mm-hmm.
They have to get, if you don't sell it to the U.S. government, you got to get those contracts from somewhere.
Sure.
To
Sure.
keep people working. So without those billions of dollars from overseas and these weapon systems,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to hurt a lot of people.
Wow.
Yeah, but Portugal said they're going to go with the Eurofighter compared to the F-35 because they cannot trust the U.S. government to deliver.
Well, I'm not sure that they're incorrect because I think internationally, our confidence in us by other nations has been shaken, especially around this whole Ukraine thing. You're watching the rest of the world try to come together, assuming that the U.S. will no longer be involved. But what I don't like about this is that if you're not with the United Nations nation, who is it left for you to be with? And is that our present president's agenda anyway, to be close to Putin and away from the United Nations? But what I don't believe is that our president can trust Putin.
I agree. I mean, considering when he was in office last go-round, and he believed Putin over the FBI and CIA.
That was amazing to me.
And also, when he had the meeting in the Oval Office with them.
I remember.
Without anybody from the U.S. there being represented,
Mm-hmm.
or even use their translators. I mean, how shady.
It was very disconcerting. Extremely troubling.
You're meeting with the enemy in the Oval Office, and with no recording, and none of our people.
Well, here's the deal. If I don't want to record it, and I don't want my own people there, A, the individual's ego is too big and believes he can handle it, and B, some agreements are going to be discussed that I don't want anybody else to know about.
Yep.
That troubles me. But what else is going on? Your governor's kind of quiet. Hey, is it true that what's that guy's name? Donalds is he going to be your next governor?
Well, he's being backed by Donald right now, but I don't think Donald's going to keep that backing when DeSantis' wife puts both feet in.
Let me tell you what I think is going to happen. Do you remember when the young man who was a pretty good linebacker in college football, and on the day of his signing, he came out gay and his boyfriend showed up with him?
Oh, yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
Well, I'm getting ready to tell you what happened. He didn't realize that he was going to become an employee of one of the strongest labor union in the United States, otherwise known as the NFL Owners Association. I watched them manage him out of the league. He got drafted by one team, he got cut, he got picked up by another, he got cut, and then he was gone. And you haven't heard anything about him since.
Not to be heard from.
And he could play. But I believe that strong union didn't want his person on their teams. So instead of outright rejecting him, they bounced him to two teams, and then he was gone. And the young man could play.
Yeah.
Now, I do blame the young man for not using wisdom in the environment that he was in. he let his boyfriend convince him, you shouldn't be ashamed of me. You ought to take me to this thing. So they're being all affectionate at the press conference. But my problem is this. The boyfriend didn't have a contract to give him. People are specializing in asking you to give up something they can't replace.
Yeah.
So now he may have the boyfriend, but he might be working at Arby's.
Yeah.
He gave up a lot for that. And the young man that he was with had nothing to replace it with. The boy was up for millions of dollars. And he lost it because the timing of his announcement, the timing of the announcement. Get the money first. My goodness gracious.
And Bishop, people don't understand that. And you're right. Once he had the money, he could have done what he wanted.
Absolutely.
But to be so arrogant to think that I can say this and do what I want because I'm so good. You're right. There are people who will shut you down.
You cannot predict the reactions of other people, so you must take precautions until you learn the environment that you're stepping into. It's just common sense. But maybe it's not common. Because the guy could play. He absolutely could play at a professional level. And he lost it that day at the press conference.
Yeah. I remember that. And you're right. He's not been heard from.
Vanished because the union made sure he no longer worked. Vanished.
Yeah. And Bishop, you were talking earlier, and it scares me, even though I'm down here in Florida. I don't like seeing all these people leave the Eagles. It's like 8 of them right now that, I know this coach can put them in there, but it's scaring me.
Well, here's the thing, and I wonderful coaches, but professional sports, very rarely do you get a Lawrence Taylor that can start as soon as he hits the field.
Yeah. Most
people have to develop in the position. And while you're developing, they're being defeated in that position or just holding their own. The kind of performance the team had this year, you see the level of performance that was required to go all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And, you start losing pieces. Why would you let the guy that blocks for Saquon go? The number one blocker. Why would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, Saquon proved last year that running backs are important, and all probably because he has someone running in front of him, knocking people out of the way.
Absolutely. But you have noticed that a lot of the teams are re-signing their running backs or drafting or negotiating for running backs that are on the market. You have noticed that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Saquon made it fashionable again.
This game is run and throw. Run and throw.
Yeah.
Run and throw. If they know all you're going to do, if all they're going to do is throw, they're coming at you. They're going to pin their ears back and just come at you if they know you don't have a running game. But if you have both,
it is a copycat league.
Absolutely.
If they see something working over there.
And I think Philadelphia ought to be wise enough to know that every team went to school on them during the last season.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll be more prepared for them in this season. So you can't downgrade your staff. If anything, you try to upgrade it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, good talking to you, Tom.
Hey, thanks. Hey, Bishop, you have a good day.
You too, man. 866-743-8267, 867-866-74 for Evans. This is On Point, the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. Won't you please give us a thumbs up? Won't you please like us and subscribe to us? Hit that notification bell so you will know every time we're on. You won't miss one of these great conversations. We have Beverly from Clementon, New Jersey, and some lines are open. You can give us a call. What time is it now? We've got about 20 minutes, and I want to touch on some of this anxiety that a lot of people are feeling and get some of your opinions and hopefully help you in what you're going through right now. Hey, Beverly, how are you this morning?
Hey, good morning, Bishop. How you doing?
All right. Welcome to On Point.
I see you doing a fine job, though.
Well, look, girl, look. Got to step up every now and then. You know, they let me out by myself. I can't fall on my face. Amen.
All righty. Well, very quickly, Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
I saw an enormous number of news reports, a kind of a turn of events with Elon Musk, which kind of tells me that the chickens, as the old folks used to say,
coming home to roost.
Yeah.
If
you go out on Google and just Google the words Elon Musk fighting back tears,
mm-hmm.
in a recent interview this week, and they were talking about the Doge cuts on a Fox interview, and the conversation turned to all the problems that's going
mm-hmm.
on with Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
The stocks have taken a dive.
It dropped from 400 and some a share to $221 a share, and I believe that cost him somewhere around 200 billion.
Yeah, and not only that, the Tesla dealerships, people's Teslas are being vandalized.
Yeah, and
all across the country. They're setting them on fire. They're taking axes to them.
Yeah, protesting.
Even Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, the ex-astronaut, who was Gabby Giffords' husband, he publicly came out and said he's ditching his Tesla.
A lot of people.
Based on what Musk is doing.
A lot of people bought them, and they were certainly an innovation, certainly at the front end of electric vehicle movement, and people are having issues owning them now based on some of the things that he's done. But also, when you talk about chickens coming home to roost, I don't know why people think they can do evil to people.
Yeah, and get away with it.
Yeah, that's.
And see, the stockholders are on his case too.
Well, they have to be.
Because they're saying he's getting all wrapped up in all this politics, and he's neglecting his company.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And the other thing that I'm thinking, I said, he got too much on his plate. He's bitten off more than he could chew. Now he's also involved in bringing back those astronauts that went up to the space station.
Mm-hmm.
They were only supposed to be there for 8 days. The vehicle that brought them up there couldn't bring them back because it developed some kind of issues.
Yeah.
So an 8-day trip has wound up being over 8 months.
Yeah.
Now, they had a failed launch on Wednesday, but it went up on Friday, so he's got his hand in that pie. Well, and I said, well, I'm going to sit back and just wait until his boyfriend implodes.
Here's what I think. If you sent one car for me and that one blew up, I'm not so sure I want to try to take a ride back in another one you're sending.
That's right. I would not get in one of his spacecraft.
Get NASA to send me a ride, but not out of SpaceX. NASA can send me a ride.
He's got his hands in too many pies, and he really, I'm telling you, there's videos, news reports all over the internet.
Yeah.
And they said he got very emotional, and you could see that he was fighting back tears.
But Bev, he's brought this on himself.
Oh yeah, I don't feel the least bit sorry for him, not at all.
He's brought it on himself, and I'm not sure you can mistreat people, and that stuff not come back. Yeah, I mean biblically, you just can't do that and do it to so many people.
Yeah.
Because before, now you realize when he took over X, he fired a bunch of folk everywhere he goes. He fires thousands and thousands of people because he has no kind of conscience about the lives that his decisions are attached to.
True.
And our president, I remember watching an interview when he was bankrupting his casinos after they were built, so he wouldn't have to pay the vendors and the contractors.
Yeah.
And I happened to be, one of my workout people that I knew was the attorney that was the head of the law firm that covered all of the casino deals. and he was telling me that, you know, guys lost their businesses, their
yeah.
homes, their cars. They ended up in a tremendous amount of debt because
Yep.
of the Trump name. They borrowed to get the supplies to participate in the construction process. So the window guys and
right.
the drywall guys and the plumbing people, it was a big job. They were big jobs.
Yeah,
So they had
yeah.
to go borrow money. And of course they were depending on him paying them. And he did not pay them. They went into financial difficulty. And when
he walked away
when I
unscathed.
saw the interview, reporter brought it up to him. And this is when I realized he perhaps didn't care enough. He said, I haven't broken any laws. There was no concern for the lives that he impacted. He simply said, I haven't broken any laws. My mouth dropped open. I'm like, this guy doesn't care.
Well, you know, I don't understand how Donald Trump can sleep at night. That man has got so much hatred in his heart, so much vengeanism. His whole second administration has involved axes to grind, going after his enemies.
Yeah.
I said, the man, he's got to implode.
He probably sleeps pretty well, Bev. He probably sleeps pretty well. And I tell you why. I tell you why he probably sleeps pretty well. When he finishes, you know, his midnight snacks and finishes watching the news to see if his people are saying the things he wants them to say. A lot of times, we will say that something's wrong with a person. And when we say something's wrong with an individual, the implication is that something wrong can be fixed. But I think sometimes we incorrectly identify people. We say something's wrong with them when actually we should be considering that something may be missing.
Well, he's definitely missing a whole bunch.
So if you're missing it, the it can't be fixed. And I think you'll see this in people across the board, you know, people that are impoverished, people that are wealthy, people that are successful, people that are not. And they're accused, you know, something's wrong with that guy. No, have you ever considered that the trait that you're looking for doesn't exist in them? That maybe
don't have a heart, you don't have a conscience. Sure.
Maybe that care gene is not there.
Yeah.
Maybe
that
empathetic gene is not there. That sympathy gene is not there, so it can't be fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it remains to be seen. Good
Absolutely.
talking to you, Bishop.
Sure enough. Talk to you
For
soon.
the rest of the day.
All right. Bye-bye. 866-743-8267. We got about 6 minutes. Now, listen up, everybody. We want you to join us tomorrow. We have 2 services going on. We have our 8 a.m. virtual service, which is going to be phenomenal. We have our 11 a.m. in-person service. If you have not experienced in-person service here at Bethany, I invite you not to take a chance, but to come down to a certainty and have an experience perhaps that you've been thirsting for or hungering for, that you won't really realize you've been missing it until you get here. I remember a lyric in an Aretha Franklin song when she says, I think the song was A Natural Woman, and she says, I did not know what I was missing until you kissed me. I remember another lyric, Etta James said something to this effect, you put a name on my dream. So sometimes, especially in the realm of the spirit, you don't know you were missing it. You don't know that you weren't identifying it correctly until you actually have the experience. I'm saying to you that that thirst and that hunger that you may have suspected but not really sure you have will be evident and will be satisfied if you come and share some time with us tomorrow live at 11 o'clock. We are in a powerful series on prayer, and this part of the series in this month is about prayer and results, what they call in the religious world manifestation. Kevin Samuels, who was very successful in his line of work, was mistaught or untaught or had some incorrect belief as far as manifestation was concerned. Christians don't sit around and have manifestation. In order for manifestation to occur, a Christian has to get involved in the process. So manifestation is not a wish, as Kevin used to say, or imply at times, and sometimes say abruptly, because he didn't fully understand what biblical manifestation was all about. It says you reap, manifest what you sow, the work. So the work of your hands produces the fruit of your labors. The fruit of your labor is the manifestation. The result of your effort is manifestation. So we're in the manifestation part, or seeing what you pray actually happen part of the series, and you don't want to miss it. So see you tomorrow. I want to see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. People drive from all over. They're coming from everywhere. You should be a part of what God is doing in our ministry. Now, if you have a prayer request, I would love to pray with you. Send that prayer request to prayer@gotobethany.com. Now, if you need some updates on what we're doing, you can text BBC News to 28950. That's BBC News to 28950. If you need some inspiration during the week, you can text BBC Elevate to 28950. Would love to pray with you. Would love to inspire you. Would love to keep you informed. Now, we are in the middle of our Catch the Fire homeless drive. It's a giveaway where we collect here at the church, and then we distribute to shelters all around the area. We need you to bring things to the church. We need toiletries, male and female. We need socks. We need undergarments. We need those bags the kids carry on your back. We need hats, scarves, new things now. We need new things. Toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, those kinds of things, feminine products for ladies. All those things that you take for granted that are in your cupboards and your cabinets that you buy, with ease. We need those types of things for people who are homeless, who are in shelters. And what we do, we collect in mass, we distribute to different shelters, so you will be able to help us impact the lives of people you may never meet, but far beyond your limitation of your own person. So all of us together are able to make sure that thousands of people get what they need to, if you will, survive, to hold on during these very difficult times. So you can help us. Now we've got another Salvation and Miracle Revival happening on the 26th of this month. So we need you to be on board with us. Salvation and Miracle Revival on the 26th. That's a Wednesday night. And we're going to pray over your oil that night. So bring your oil to the church. Make sure you put a name tag on it so it doesn't get lost in the hundreds of bottles that'll be on the altar. But we're having another miracle and healing service on the 26th of this month, where we're going to bless your oil on that night. So you want to make sure you're here. Well, I'm out of time, but I'm certainly not out of word. I want to thank you for joining me today. For Reverend Nicholas Smith, who will be back with us tomorrow evening, I want to say, you want to stay strong, stay saved, and remember this: faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. God bless you, and I'll see you next week here on Point.